So, last time you saw me, we talked about multiplying and dividing rational expressions. Pretty easy peasy lemon squeezy. All you have to do is you take your first fraction and you multiply that by the reciprocal of the second fraction when we're doing division. And with multiplication, you just like multiply top and bottom, and you get to cancel out. So much fun. Adding and subtracting is a little bit different, a little bit more tricky because we have to find the dreaded lowest common denominator. Dun dun dun! And it can get a little tricky sometimes, especially when you have numbery bits and lettery bits. But first of all, let's just remind ourselves how we add and subtract fractions. So if we would have something like this, 2/3 plus 3/4, what we would do is we would find the lowest common denominator between these. It's going to be 12, okay? So what do I need to do to this side? This one I need to multiply by 3, because 4 times 3 is 12. And this one I need to multiply by 4, because 4 times 3 is 12. So what we have here is 8/12 plus 9/12. Another way that we can write this though is everything over 12. I forgot my equal sign. 8 plus 9. This is another way that we can describe it. That's just 17/12. And it's okay to leave it in an improper fraction form, but if we want to get really, really mathy, it's going to be 1 5/12. Okay, so this one was easy, right? You just kind of multiply by the denominator of the other. What happens when you see something that looks like this? 5. No. Found it. 3/5 plus, minus 9/20. Now, what's tricky about this is, we could get a common denominator, multiply this one by 20, multiply this one by 5, and you got denominators of 100, folks. That's way too big. That's not the lowest common denominator. It is a common denominator, but not the lowest. Well, I know that 4 times 5 is 20. So all I need to do is multiply both the top and the bottom of the first one. But we already have the denominator on this one of 20, so we don't have to do anything to it. We could say we could multiply by 1, but that would just be ridiculous. So what do we have here? All over 20. 4 times 3 is 12, minus 9/20. 12 minus 9 is 3/20. And we're done. I was looking at you guys working yesterday, and I noticed that a lot of people are not writing in the numerator and denominator, okay? This is the form that you have to do. You can't just be like 20, 20, or when you're factoring like x plus 3, x minus 3, and then just have the denominator working on through. This is the proper form. The reason why I do questions and examples is so that I can model the form that I'm expecting. This is the form that I'm expecting when we're talking about adding and subtracting fractions. Let's do one more. I want to try one more thing with you. I promise to get this one right. 1/6 minus 7/9. We know it's going to be negative, right? Because 7/9 is way bigger than 1/6. But let's just really see how we figure out that common denominator. So here we have 3 times 2. Minus something 3 times 3. And I'm going to just stick the 1 and the 7 up top. To find the lowest common denominator, what you need to do is you need to kind of check to see which factors we need. So I know that I need 2 3s. And I know that I need 1 2. Do I need to multiply by an extra 3? No, because one of these 3's covers it. You don't have to multiply again by 3. We have, in this side, we have 2 3's. On this side, we have 1 3 and 1 2. Another way to check this stuff off is if you have a 3 on one side, just check mark with a 3 on the other side. That's our 3. Here's a 3 all by its lonesome. And also here's a 2 all by its lonesome. This seems overkill when it comes to numbers, guys, but when you see the actual lettery bits, I think that this is going to be a really beneficial or a helpful way for you to figure out the lowest common denominator. So the lowest common denominator, 3 times 3 is 9 times 2 is 18. So I need to multiply this one by 3, and I need to multiply this one by 2. So we have 3 minus 7 times 2 is 14, all over the common denominator of 18. So you have negative 11 over 18. And that is actually in lowest terms.